You first again.
Oh, hi, Mrs. Weeks.
And Mr. Leatherwood, and today we're going to talk about adding and subtracting. We're continuing our unit on adding and subtracting. This is our third video.
So many different ways.
It is. And this one is, I guess, for better of a lack of term? That
Yeah,
sound right?
I don't know. That
Lack
sounds like a
of
turtle.
lack of a better term. We call it the U.S. algorithm.
Okay.
Or extended notation, I guess would be a good way.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start with a subtraction problem.
Okay.
Can we do that?
Yep.
So let's say we do 352
Mm-hmm.
minus 141.
Okay.
That sound good?
Yep.
Okay, so U.S. algorithm is extended notation.
All right. Expanding out those numbers fully.
So if this is our original, so for instance, 352 really means 300 plus 50 plus 2. That would be how we would write that number
Right.
expanded.
Mhm.
And then if we're subtracting 100 plus 40 plus 1.
Right.
Okay? And then this is how you do it. It basically breaks it up where you're doing the ones place, the tens place, and the hundreds place each individually.
Absolutely.
So if we do 2 minus 1, we get 1.
Mm-hmm.
If we do 50 minus 40, we get 10. And if we do 300 minus 100, we get 200. And I think it really simplifies things.
Yes, absolutely.
And then our answer, the way that you get back to your original answer, to write it up here if you prefer, you would do 200 plus 10 plus 1, which would equal 211. Or not and 11, 211. Simple enough.
Perfect. I want to mention with this one, though, it's not going to save you from regrouping.
It's not.
So, I mean, some of the other strategies we've looked at gave you options and how to fiddle with numbers. This isn't going to save you from regrouping, but it allows you to look at what you're regrouping.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have to regroup off the tens place or the hundreds place, you're actually going to have to take from those. So that's perfect.
Why don't let's show them one with...
Oh.
Okay, so we're going to do a regrouping one here. You come up with a number.
Okay. 431.
Okay.
Minus, let's do big, 182.
Okay. All right. So again, we're just going to stretch that number out.
Right.
So 400 plus 30 plus 1 would
Right.
represent that number.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so we're going to subtract 100 plus 80 plus 2.
Oh.
Now, right off the bat, I see that I can't subtract 2 from 1.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
You don't have enough in that ones place. So that's when you need to start looking at the tens.
Right. So I'm going to have to steal some 10s over here to move it over here. Now, when I do that, I'm not just taking 1. I'm taking a full group
10.
of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this is going to turn to 20.
Right.
And then this will turn to 11. Because
yeah.
we took a full group and turned that into 11.
And they can think of those, even when they were younger and they did the base 10 blocks, they broke up those rods into units and things like that.
Exactly.
So you have to think about those.
Yeah. So 11 minus 2, I believe, gives us 9, right?
Yep.
Okay. And then we look at 20 minus 80.
Oh, can't do that.
Can't do that. So again, we're going to take from over here.
Right.
Now we're not just taking a 10, though.
Oh, no.
You're taking a whole group of 100,
Mm-hmm.
okay, which is something a little foreign, I think. So we're going to mark that out, and this becomes a 300,
Mm-hmm.
which we're going to mark this out. Remember, we took a whole group of 100.
Right. So instead
that
of 20,
makes
now
it-
we have 120.
Yeah.
That's right.
So then 120 minus 80, we can do 80, 90, 100, 110, 120. So that gives me 40.
Yep.
Okay. And for those of you that can't see my fingers, I was using my fingers to do
I
that.
really wasn't going to tell them that.
That's it. I think it's important. You can still use your fingers.
Yes, you can.
Okay. And then we get to the very end, our hundreds place. 300 minus 100. And what do we get?
200.
200. Okay. And then all we do, if we want our answer, again, if you want to put it up here,
Mm-hmm.
200 plus 40 plus 9,
240.
249.
And I just mentioned it because I did want them to understand there would still be regrouping involved. This is a great way to do it, but you get to visually see every single place
Right.
being taken from or manipulated in some way. So that's great.
There we go. Should we do one addition one? I know relatively simple. But
Yeah, let's go ahead.
All
We'll
right,
do
let's
one.
do that. Okay. So let's do an addition one. Let's
This
do
should be easier for
yeah.
them though.
225 plus 346.
Good.
Okay. Does it matter? Start with lower, bigger number.
Not really, because
Yeah.
you're adding them together, so it won't matter, but you're still going to stretch them both out.
Stretch them both out. So 200 plus 20 plus 5 plus 300 plus 40 plus 6. Okay. I
Perfect.
did this one sort of for a reason.
Yeah,
Um,
I can see that because I can already see what's going to happen
Yeah.
there. So,
so 5 plus 6 is going to give us an 11.
okay.
Okay.
But an 11 doesn't belong all in the ones place. though.
Exactly. So what I do is you could write it either way. You could write an 11 down here if you wanted.
Right.
But since it's a ones place, and I'm a math teacher,
Yes.
I leave the 1 here, and then I bring that extra 10 over
Right.
to regroup.
Yep.
And then I'll add my 10 plus my 20 plus my 40,
Right.
and I'll get my 70.
Hmm.
Did I have that right? 70?
Yes.
Okay.
Perfectly right.
All right. And then I can go over to my hundreds, 200 plus 300, and that gives me my 500.
Hmm.
Sound good?
Perfect. Absolutely.
Okay. Okay, so now we've got our total of 571.
Perfect. And
There
that
you
should be
go.
a little bit easier for them because they're so comfortable with adding, and that's just stretching the number out.
Yeah.
So perfect.
The only thing you want to be, that was a
Yes.
little difference is that regrouping.
Right.
So when we get something, we really want to bring it up and put it over here.
Right. Right.
Okay. All right, good job. I think this is
Awesome.
our last video on
I
adding
think for
and
adding and
subtracting.
subtracting, yes.
All right. So pick some numbers. Have your parents pick some numbers at home and practice this. I really think it's a good one for regrouping. It really shows kind of what they need to do.
Absolutely.
All right.